Hello everyone, welcome back to Scented Moments channel. I'm João Lima and today I will talk about my top 10 most influential niche fragrances during my fragrance journey. So these 10 fragrances are the reason why I love niche perfumery. One of these fragrances, technically it's not niche, but it's the reason why I discovered niche perfumery at the first place. And in each fragrance that I have here that I'll mention, one of them is the reason why I love ambers, another one is the reason why I love more mature, gentleman type of fragrances. So these 10 fragrances shaped my taste in niche perfumery. Until this date, I love each and every single one of these fragrances. So let's talk about them. First, I will talk about the fragrance that made me discover niche perfumery, and technically it's not a niche fragrance. From the house of Tom Ford, from the private blend collection, it is Tobacco Vanille. Tobacco Vanille, guys, it's outstanding. To this date, I love this one. It has tobacco, it has vanilla, of course, like the name suggests. It has a lot of spices. It's very creamy, but it's slightly gourmand. Even the vanilla here, it's to die for the tobacco as well. Although I would say that vanilla, it's a bit more prominent, but nonetheless, it's so cozy, so sensual at the same time. Perfect fragrance for the colder weather, and it's the reason why I discovered niche fragrances. The first time I smelled this, I was in Lithuania with my girlfriend. I was in Kurkdijan perfume shop in Vilnius, and it was back in 2017 if I'm not mistaken. I tried this one, I saw a gorgeous looking bottle, very expensive, and I was like, well, maybe this will be very good. I tried and it was love at first sniff, and the rest is history. Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. It's outstanding, love this one. One of my all-time favorites, and that's why I'm mentioning here, because after all, this is where it all started. Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. Next fragrance that I'll mention is from the house of Carner, Barcelona, and it was my first niche fragrance. It is Palo Santo. Now, I purchased Palo Santo and Costarella from the same brand, but this one is more special. This one has warm milk, it's boozy, has rum in here, it has guaiacu, it has tonka bean. This is a fantastic gourmand fragrance. The warm milk accord here is so realistic. This is so smooth, so creamy, and yet so cozy. Oh man, so good, delicious fragrance. And as a first niche fragrance, this for me was mind-blowing at the time, and to this date I love this. And well, this is the reason why I start to dive in more into niche perfumery. Palo Santo by Carner, Barcelona. I still have yet to review this one. It's a fantastic gourmand, boozy, creamy, woody fragrance. Now the next fragrance that I'll mention, it's from Andy Tauer, and it is L'air du Désert Marocain. Of course, the masterpiece of Andy Tauer. It's dry, dusty, has amber, of course. It's spicy, it's wonderful. This was the very first niche fragrance that I bought in a perfume shop here in Lisbon. Embassy Niche Perfumery. I will leave the link down below so you can check their website, and you can purchase from that website. Andy Tauer, it's fantastic. I love this. Man, it's still a masterpiece. I bought this back in August of 2017 and I still love this. Wonderful amber scent, one of my all-time favorites, and the reason why I started to, well, search for niche perfume shops here in Lisbon, to discover more brands, to dive in more into niche perfumery. Overall, a fantastic scent. Andy Tauer, L'air du Désert Marocain, wonderful. Next fragrance that I'll mention is from the house of Acqua di Parma, and it is Colonia Oud. This one right here. I really don't talk about Acqua di Parma fragrances, but Wow, this one, it was my first Acqua di Parma fragrance actually, and I don't know if you can see it, but I've been wearing this a lot, but not as much lately. I purchased this one in 2017 also, and I wore this during that time, 2017, 2018, and after that time, well, I'm not wearing this as much as I once did, but still a fantastic oud for a beginner. This has citruses, it has this Acqua di Parma DNA, this citrusy, gentleman, refined DNA with oud. It's a very light but yet very prominent oud, not funky or skanky, not at all. It's very appealing, it's very masculine, very gentleman type of scent. Acqua di Parma Colonia oud, it's fantastic oud for beginner. I love this one. Fantastic scent right here, Acqua di Parma Colonia oud. Now the next fragrance that I'll mention, it's from the house of Maison Kurkdijan, and it is Soir. This one right here, my first discovery of the brand. Oh man, so good, and it was my first purchase actually. I was giving a sample of Soir in, again, 2017. 2017 was the year when I discovered niche perfumes, and this one was love at first sniff. And oh man, I still can remember when I was trying niche fragrances at the niche perfume shop here in Lisbon, Skin Life. I was with my girlfriend, and when I tried this, I was immediately in love with this amber. This has tonka bean, it has benzoin, and it has amber. It's sweet, but yet so refined, smooth, romantic. One of the most, if not the most romantic fragrance that I ever tried so far, and so seductive as well. Very addictive, and my girlfriend also loves this one so much. We wear this a lot, both of us, and it's fantastic. Soir by Maison Kurkdijan. It's an outstanding amber scent. The next fragrance that influenced my fragrance journey and my tastes from the house of Stephane, and it is Soleil de Jeddah. The first fragrance that I tried from this brand, and man, this was my introduction to more Middle East type of scents. Soleil de Jeddah has chamomile, has vanilla, has leather, and it's warm, but it's bright. It has a brightness into it, and it's regal and so appealing, so unique, at least for me. Although this is very common in the Middle East, but here in Europe, especially here in Portugal, this is very special, very unique. You will stand out in the crowd and hear the performance. It's outstanding. One of my most complimented fragrances as well, Soleil de Jeddah by Stephane. It's outstanding fragrance, especially if you want a more Middle East type of scent with a sweet mass appeal touch. Check this one out, Soleil de Jeddah by Stephane. The next fragrance that I'll mention is from the house of Amouage, and it is Amouage Jubilation XXV. You already can see how much I wear this one. It's one of my most worn Amouages, maybe my second, my most worn. It's Reflection Man. And this one, it smells regal. Another fragrance that smells regal. But this one for me, it's the regal, the most regal fragrance that I ever smelled. Jubilation XXV, it's my favorite Amouage. It was not my favorite, it was not my first purchase. My first purchase from Amouage was Lyric Man, an outstanding rose fragrance that I could easily mention in this list because it was the fragrance that introduced me to rose fragrances, where I started to appreciate rose-based scents. But this one here, it's so complex and yet quite linear for the note breakdown that it has, but nonetheless it's complex, it's deep, it's dense, it's thick, it's full, and it's powerful. It has a fruity, very prominent fruity note, which is blackberry. It has oud, it has frankincense, it has myrrh. It's one of a kind. Amouage Jubilation XXV, it's the reason why I love Amouage, the reason why I love more Middle East type of scents. Jubilation XXV, it's outstanding. The next fragrance that I'll mention is from the house of Pure Distance, and it is Pure Distance M. My favorite leather fragrance. It's even silly. This was back then my most expensive purchase. I didn't pay full retail, but yet for a 100ml bottle size I gave 200 euros. Back then it was a big deal, and it's so refined, so mature, so gentleman. This leather fragrance, it's kind of similar with Bel Ami by Hermes, but this one is a step above. It's very spicy. It even has some funkiness into it. It's very spicy, very leathery, aromatic. It's wonderful. It's so wonderful. It's so sophisticated and yet very masculine and mature. I love this one. Very bold at the same time, quite daring because of the spiciness in here, but this one screams sophistication. Pure Distance M, it's one of a kind. My favorite leather to this date. And the next fragrance that I'll mention is from the house of Nishane, and it is Fan Your Flames. Of course, this one was my introduction to the brand of Nishane. It's boozy, it has rum in here, it has the best coconut note that I ever smelled. You have tonka bean, you have tobacco in here. This is a perfect blend of tropical and oriental nuances. Outstanding fragrance right here. Very appealing. Again, one of my most complimented fragrances, hands down. Nishane Fan Your Flames. It's wonderful. I've been talking about this fragrance a lot in this channel, so this fragrance doesn't need any introduction here. Fan Your Flames by Nishane, one of my all-time favorites. And last but not least, it's from the house of Xerjoff. The fragrance is Casamorati 1888. The most gentleman Italian type of scent. Wow. This was my first introduction to Xerjoff. This one is my favorite from the Casamorati line. My second favorite is Lita, but I feel that Lita, it goes into a more feminine territory. I offered Lita to my girlfriend and she absolutely loves that caramelized vanilla scent. This one, it's more masculine, much more sophisticated, mature, again, refined, but yet with a backbone. You have carnation. Carnation here, it's one of the most prominent notes. You have amber as well and spicy notes. It's a fantastic scent. One of the most mature gentleman type of fragrances that I ever tried, and it's still one of my all-time favorites. Fantastic performance right here. Casamorati 1888 by Xerjoff. It's very unique, never smelled anything like this. Even today, I have yet to smell something similar to Casamorati 1888. And if you want to know how carnation smells like, check this one out. It's an outstanding scent, very masculine. It's one of my all-time favorites too. Casamorati 1888 by Xerjoff finishes this list. Guys, tell me in the comments down below what you thought of this list. What are your most influential niche fragrances of your fragrance journey? And tell me everything in the comments down below. Guys, once again, thank you so much for your support and see you in the next video. Take care. Ciao.